Good Sunday morning and welcome to Inside Tennessee. I'm one of your moderators, John Becker. Great to have you back. We don't have Simone Biles, but we do have another winner, an election winner in Knox County. Yes, we've seen an election since we've last seen you after the Olympics bumped us for a couple of weeks. We're going to focus this morning on this Knox County District 4 commission race. Why? Because Democrats managed to flip a Republican seat. You may recall that current Commissioner Kyle Ward, who is a Republican, didn't run in this election, so it was up for grabs. Let's take it full and remind you that indeed it covers Sequoia Hills and other parts of Bearden and West Knoxville. And joining us this morning is the winner of this race, who's a Democrat. His name is Shane Jackson. He's a banker by trade, also a military veteran, a family man. It's great to have you, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Good morning to everybody.
Good morning. Let me introduce our panel. They're back in action. Susan Richardson-Williams is a Republican. She runs her own PR firm.
Good morning, John and Shane.
Good morning, and Don Bosch.
It's been a long time. I forgot my name.
Who is that guy over there? Who are you? Dennis Francis? No, it's Don
don't do that
Bosch,
to me, please.
who runs his own law firm and is a Democrat. And my colleague John North is here as well, as always. And it's great to be back in this company. And let's talk first. The margin of victory in this race was fairly tight. How did you win?
Well, first of all, let me just say thank you very much for my opponent, Garrett Holt. He ran a terrific race. He worked very, very hard. He was a great gentleman. And, we, in our campaign, we pledged at the beginning not to do any personal attacks, lead with kindness, compassion, bringing a diversity of opinion. And I think that's what landed with everybody in our district.
It's a nice change.
It was the nicest county commission race we've seen in a while.
And to Garrett's credit, he ran a great campaign as well.
We'll hear more from him, I suspect.
I believe so. In fact, one of my first things that I've done on commission as a commission-elect is I have recommended Garrett to fill my seat on the Public Building Authority that I have vacated. So,
well, there you go. There's a little bipartisanship already.
Nice.
Hey, we were talking off camera about how you won that night. It was, as John alluded, a 170 vote margin, which is, it's a squeaky one.
That was close.
You beat Catherine Bike, who won the school board with the same dimensions. But tell us where you won and where Garrett won and what the difference was.
Well, the precincts inside the city, were fair. All went to me, and the precincts that were in the county towards Bluegrass and North Shore and AL lots, those precincts, those went with Garrett. And when it came right down to it, it just came down to just a handful of votes. And one of the things that I would like your viewers to know is that every vote really does matter.
That's
and
for sure.
This election, this district really showed that, just a 1% difference would have made.
Brett Anders sits at home every day thinking about that very fact.
There's 23 votes.
Yes.
One thing I wanted to ask about is we mentioned that Democrats flipped a commission seat. Now it's 8-3 on commission with 11 commissioners total, 3 Democrats. How much do you think partisanship matters on that body? It sounded like in your race, you put it aside and just tried to run on the issues, if you will, and run with your experience.
Well, some of the issues that when I was knocking doors that people were most concerned with making sure that our schools were safe, making sure our neighborhoods are safe, fixing some of our traffic problems, fixing problems with North Shore, Westland, Nubbin Ridge Drive, which are, popular roads in our area. Those are nonpartisan issues. And that's what I ran on is just, let's just fix the issue. And, it's a 9-3 Republican majority, but I represent the 4th District, and that's what I intend to do, is represent my citizens, both those who voted for me and those who didn't.
What is your, focus going to be now that you're elected? Do you have something you're specifically interested in you'd like to get passed on the commission?
Well, the thing that, I heard more than anything was we need to fix our emergency management. We need to make sure that we have enough ambulances on the road. And we need to make sure that, we have enough personnel. And I would like to be part of a solution of meeting with the hospitals, the emergency rooms, the ambulances, and trying to figure out and fix this issue. Because the Knoxville News Sentinel has reported several times about sometimes ambulances taking an hour to 2 hours to get to heart attack victims. Yeah. And that's just not
Shane, that really does beg the question, and I have always been troubled by private contractor ambulance services like AMR and others that have come through here. Would you ever be in a position, or do you think our county might consider at some point making that a governmental function like it is in a lot of places and having our own ambulance service that's reportable to the county mayor, to county commission, versus just a group where county commission has to vote up or down on a contract, you know, albeit with some penalties if they don't perform, but it's not working. It's not working. So what's your solution?
It's not working, but it's a complex problem.
It is.
I was one of the few commissioners who actually rode along with an AMR ambulance to figure out, you know, hey, what is the issue? Well, when I was at UT Hospital, they have approximately 79 beds there. And you had 15 or 20 ambulances sitting outside just, you know,
Waiting
They're
waiting
treating
on
the
beds.
patients in an ambulance because there's no space at the hospital.
So, you know, we need to find a better way to triage, to get them off the ambulances so the ambulances can get back on the road, but also make sure we have enough ambulances. When I was on the road, we ran out of ambulances in Knox County twice. That's not appropriate. That's not good government.
Is that true of all the hospitals? I wonder, or just UT where it's a trauma center?
I would like to find that out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can
curious
tell you
about that.
and talking to some of the management that yes, I mean all the ERs tend to be crowded. I think the unique problem with UT is it still has a perception of being the public needs hospital. It is a trauma center.
It is a trauma center.
But you know, having been a recent patient of the ER there, and it was there were a lot of people that were not trauma oriented, but likewise were waiting many hours as I had to, and it was. It's a challenge, and I think all the hospitals are challenged that way in this county.
We're going to pick up on that issue and others. We've got to take a quick break here on Inside Tennessee. Back on this Sunday morning right after this.